So, since Lucia was bestowed the honor to host the International Cricket Council ICC T20 World Cup some 16 years after staging its first World Cup tournament. But what exactly did it take for the island to play host for such a prestigious event? The International Cricket Council ICC had some major requests for the games, as you can imagine. Modernized touches to the cricketers' pavilion at the Daren Sammy Cricket Ground were one of the top requests.
The Players' Pavilion is a very important aspect of what ICC wanted. They wanted a modern look. They wanted the players to feel comfortable. They wanted us to use the technology in terms of television and internet within the Players' Pavilion, because you'd appreciate this is where all the analysis would happen when the teams come in. And so we have a modern Players' Pavilion being constructed. The sitting area on top is normally reserved for VIP and for individuals coming in to enjoy that sort of ambience. And so we had to make every effort to make this place as classy as possible. The St. Lucia Cricket Association have their offices held right there as well, and so we had to make sure it was comfortable for them as well. Very impressed with the modern look that the players, and not just the cricketers from this World Cup, but going forward, the players who would be using for West Indies and of course the local cricket finals would enjoy a modern Players' Pavilion.
The scoreboard, replay screen and lighting at the Daren Sammy Cricket Ground are also receiving some much-needed repairs. 140 media personnel are expected to grace the island for T20 matches, which also necessitated upgrades to that area. The ICC also requested the Grosile playing fields and Mindo Phillip Park as practice areas for the T20. Those two have been undergoing major repairs.
The Grosile playing field is a field that I would have enjoyed in terms of my sports development, and a lot of our talent has come from that community. And for the entirety of their existence, we've never had proper facilities in terms of a cordon-off area, an area that, you know, there'll be comfort in terms of these international players coming in, having a practice session with privacy. And with the World Cup, it was incumbent upon us to ensure that we board up that entire area in terms of putting a perimeter wall, and of course in the long term ensuring that we have a transition to a mini stadium. So proper sitting, proper change rooms, and the dynamics that would ensure that the venue could be used for other activities locally and sub-regionally. The Mindo Phillip Park is another historic ground for cricket development, and it already afforded the privacy because it was cordoned off, and we figured the work that was required in terms of the pavilion, the players area, the pitch and outfield was something that the ICC and Cricket West Indies really wanted us to work on. And so we've done a lot of work at the Mindo Phillip Park, and as a government we know the importance of nighttime cricket at the Mindo Phillip Park, and so the lights are going to be installed LED with the transition to solar as well.
How much is the government actually investing for the hosting of ICC T20 World Cup? Youth Development and Sports Minister Kenson Casimir sought to put some talks to rest during a sit-down with renowned sports commentator Joseph Reds Perreira.
And you would have heard that the St. Lucia government, we are investing $80 million, and it is not just for the venue. It's not just for the venues, the 3 venues. There are lots of logistics when you're developing a country ahead of a World Cup, including the communal, the advertising, the marketing, the security, and of course, you know, in terms of the health care, the health and the welfare of all the individuals, these things cost money, and so you would see a lot of investment into the medical aspect of hosting the World Cup. And the 80 million, we're certainly hoping that beyond the World Cup, we indicated that some of the other venues in St. Lucia, the Philip Masley grounds, the Masha grounds, the VG playing field, critical to the development of sport overall in St. Lucia, will be given attention in terms of being enclosed venues that we could use for a semi-pro cricket league, a semi-pro football league, for track and field events, and the overall development of sport and human beings in our country.
Road and infrastructure upgrades were also undertaken in preparation for the World Cup.
So when people speak of $80 million and they say that is so much and that sort of thing, the cost of all the infrastructural external works, just preliminarily in terms of you have the road from the fire station in Gozali, which is Massad, into Beausejour, into Kaimaji, ending at the entrance of Lafayette, the Mothers and Fathers Hall in that area. And of course, we're looking at the Belarus Road, which is from across the marina all the way into Beausejour and the surrounding areas. We have a couple of corvettes that we have to build. We have bridges. We have a couple of bridges that we have to do. The widening of that road. And of course, the Norbe-Corinth Road, another aspect of ensuring that there's an easier access, easier flow of traffic. The hairpin bend in Kaimaji. We're looking at over $10 million invested in the infrastructure in and around this area.
The sports minister is urging cricket enthusiasts to get their tickets early online.
We do not have a culture of persons purchasing tickets very early. We are going to be announcing exactly when it will be opened at the Daren Sammy and the venues around St. Lucia. But for now, the tickets can be purchased online. Cricket West Indies have made that announcement. ICC made that announcement. So you could actually go on right now. You can log on and get your tickets for cricket. And I would advise St. Lucians to do that sooner rather than later.
Minister Casimir continues to harp on the importance of maintaining sports venues for the long haul. St. Lucia is set to host 6 matches for the World Cup at the Daren Sammy Cricket Ground from June 15th to the 24th, 2024. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.